Aloha and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Got Your Six podcast. This six-question podcast brings together high performers to share their methods, strategies, and ideas, delivered in an informative and, most importantly, actionable way that'll help you lead yourself and those around you from the battlefield to the boardroom. Coming to you every episode, I'm your host, Tony Nash. And into the breach.
Nothing mentioned on this podcast is an endorsement or opinion of the Department of Defense.
I got your six, we got your back. Got your six, we got your back. Got your six, we got your back. I got your six.
My guest today is Jake Labhart. Jake is the Director of Tactical Development at 10,000. He was the founder of In Extremis Performance, also known as IEP. IEP used performance, readiness, and longevity as their foundation and applied these techniques through physical therapy, strength and conditioning, nutrition, and cognitive programs, allowing individuals and team enhancement regarding mind, body, and spirit. Jake is an Army veteran, having served in the National Guard as an infantryman and has a doctorate in physical therapy from Campbell University and is a proud Texas A&M graduate. So we're just going to dive right into the questions. So the first question on Got Your Six is, what's the one thing you implement daily from your time in the military?
You know, I had an instructor going through the Q course that really had us look at quotes and different things like that. And man in the arena, you know, Teddy Roosevelt, like there's just that quote I think has impacted me just so much in my life. That's something I use every single day, you know, not to be that cold and timid soul. I got out of the military, I got into PT school, I got out in the civilian sector, and I think there's a lot of people that their hands are tied out of fear. And I think that quote just hit me so hard, and something that, again, I don't look at every morning, but it's something that I send out quotes to my teams as well. And it's by far the first one I'm going to send. Like, it's one that I want guys to remember, like, hey, why you're doing this. And so I think that's one that really hit me. That instructor spoke a lot into my life. And that quote was one that he used frequently that I really, I would say impacts me still today.
Oh, that's awesome. No, that's a great segue, right? So the second question is, what would be one book, course, communication, so that could be like a YouTube video or anything, that has greatly influenced your life?
Yeah, so let me hit you the couple that I thought were good. I know you've had to read this one, but Sun Tzu, The Art of War, you know, I know it's a big reading for you guys, but I think it applies I think a lot of people are like, oh, just war, but it's not. It applies to a lot of areas of your life as far as strategy and how you approach any situation, honestly. So that's one that I've stuck with. The other one that I really want to speak on, though, it's called Grit by Angela Duckworth. I found her a while back when she wrote that book, and that is a book that has influenced me so much. It's something I use a lot with my athletes, whether it be tactical or not, of when people are going through those tough times or they're asking about the future. And I'm like, listen, grit. Like, I think it's amazing. Also, with getting my doctorate, we had to do research. And it's really funny because when I was in school, my professor, she was awesome, but I gave her so much crap because I hate research. But I use research so much now, and I think it gives me a lot of respect, no matter what field I'm looking at, you know. But Angela Duckworth did such a great job because she took this thing that I could be like, oh man, Tony, he's got so much grit. But really, how do we define it? And so the fact that she was able to go and give an objective measure and define, that's one that I think is awesome. It's influenced me a lot. And I like what she did too. It's not like you have it or you don't, and you can't ever change it.
Right.
She gives you ammo to like how you can work on it and improve daily as you continue your life.
That's awesome. And just like research, right? It's something you get better with over time. Like my first paper in grad school is far worse than what I can produce right now.
Of course.
That's awesome. And then, so what is one skill, ability, or talent that you are currently working on, and why?
Ooh, that's a good one. This one's more in my personal, maybe not as much as my work life. I think that the military, we're very aggressive by nature. Confrontation is not something that bothers us. And sometimes we're just very straight shooters, which can be difficult in the civilian sector sometimes. And something I've really been working on consistently is just loving people, like being more kind in how I interact on a day-to-day basis. Something that you've talked about that I really appreciated about this Got Your Six podcast was that servanthood. Do you call it servant leadership? And I think it's something that in today's society, we need a lot more of. And I know maybe it sounds soft or weak, but I think love is something that we need to get more out in that world, no matter where you stand politically or whatever, that if we loved each other a lot more, I think this place, it would be a better place. And having a 5 and a 2-year-old, there are things I can do to impact their world. But at the same time, I think if I can raise them to go out in society and do that, I think that I'm hoping I give them a strong start anyway. So yeah, man, that's something I'm trying to work on daily. And it's not that I'm a hateful person or anything, but I think it is something that takes effort.
Can you give us a recent example of where you show them love?
Yeah. At Christmas, my wife and I were very fortunate, very blessed. And we did give our kids things, not like we're like, hey guys, sorry, no presents for you. But we went very light, and we went to some people that have actually been working on our house. One of them specifically was a pastor. And I just went to him and said, hey man, we would like to hopefully bless some others in their lives at this time of year when I know it's tough with COVID and everything. And so we financially tried to support them in that. And again, this is not what it's about, pat myself on the back, but that was an example where we felt very, hey, you know what, we've got, like, how can we give back? And it was just a way we could, show our love to some other people.
No, it's beautiful because love can come in many forms. I mean, that's a great example. Yeah. So you're doing a lot of different things, especially now, and we've talked about off air. In the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, habit has improved most in your life?
Yeah, so this was a good one. I'm something I struggle with, but I've gotten a lot better at. But the emphasis I will say is control. So growing up, the military was something good that helped me with this a little bit, but I was always a prepper. So I'm trying to make sure that all my X's and O's are crossed, so that no matter what situation happens, I'm good to go. I'm prepared for it. And that's good. I do think it's a positive characteristic to have. However, it also can cause a lot of anxiety if you're always looking for the next wrong. And there's some things you just can't control in your life. And so that was the thing that I think was in the last 5 years, getting out of the military specifically, because I mean, we were kind of on opposite sides, right? Like, you can control some people's lives. On the enlisted side, I was being told what to do, right? And so I was fortunate to see good leaders, but I was also fortunate to see bad leaders. And sometimes those bad ones, maybe per se, taught me that I can't control what they do. And so in the past 5 years, what I've really focused on through PT school and in my personal and in my company, honestly, is there are things I can control and there are things I cannot. And so instead of stressing about the things I cannot, take that energy and put it into the things I can. And that's one of the things I've learned to do a lot better at. And I think it's allowed me to be more effective in my company, especially working with government can be challenging at times. And so that's where I think it's helped me with, instead of stressing out because I can't control the government, to focus on things I can.
Yeah. So controlling the controllables. No, that's awesome. Having been on both sides, both, as a civilian now and then, in a former life, where have you come across a failure that actually turned into be your greatest success?
Yeah. So that question was a really good one. Man, I have tons of failures. And I think I commonly see little small ones consistently. And I try to make sure that I learn from them and don't do them twice. So the greatest one, I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Sorry.
It's open notes, so you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, no, it's more that I'm cheating on maybe a failure, but it is because I kind of view it that way. I think it's tough, but it was something big in my life. It was when I was going through the Q course. All my buddies are a group now, and I got hurt, and it is what it is. I couldn't control it.
Give us a real quick what the Q course is.
Yeah, yes. I got my undergrad. I enlisted into the Army as an 18 X-ray. The Q course is the qualification course. So if you want to be Special Forces, aka Green Berets, you have to go through the Q course. It's a 2-year pipeline. So you do that after selection, which was a 3-week selection course. So I got selected and I was going through the 18 Delta pipeline to eventually be a Green Beret medic. And so as I was going through, I got hurt and I got medically discharged. And that was, again, it's hard because I very much viewed it, and it's a little bit difficult for me to still view it as black and white. Like, I'm not a Green Beret right now, so therefore I'm a failure. And it's not that, because it's fed me. It's given me ammo to push forward. I hit a point in my life when I was getting out of the Army. I was like, what in the heck am I going to do? Because I enlisted with a college degree. I put all my eggs in that basket. And when I was getting out, I was kind of like, where am I going with this? And I had a family at the time, and I was like, hey man, it's not about you. Figure out something. And I worked my butt off, and I got my doctorate. While I was getting my doctorate, I had another kid in grad school. And then while still in grad school, started a company. I mean, a lot of it was because I was like, hey man, dude, you failed, you got hurt, quote unquote. Get your crap together. Let's go. Like, you are something, like you can do this. And honestly, there was a lot of, I had to believe in myself. And since then, I want to be very clear. I've had a lot of support. My wife she's a beast. Like, she's somebody who I look up to and respect. I mean, more than anybody. And if it had not been for her, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing. And so I fully did get a lot of help, but at the same time, that was, I think, one of the biggest turning points, failure, whatever you want to call it, that has led me to where I am.
Awesome. A little bit of grit from the Q course. No, it's consistency throughout this conversation. I love it. So speaking of consistency, right? Like, how are you better than yesterday?
Man, that's something I look at. I love that motto. However, for me, man, every single day I wake up, I'm like, if you're not better than you, then you're failing. Like, you're losing at life. And so every day I wake up, brush my teeth, and I'm standing there, and it's not like I'm admiring myself. I'm like, hey man, let's get your crap together and let's go. And so I think every day my attitude just has been that between, it's kind of, like you're saying, I'm cheating a little bit, but grit, like day after day, finding the grind of how can you be better. Maybe I should be better about that, of like sitting down and making small lists. But I think so much of it starts with our attitude. Every day when you wake up in the morning, I'm appreciative that I woke up. I didn't die in my sleep, I guess, or I survived the day before. But then my goal for that day is to crush it. It's not like, let's just get through this. It's like, how are we going to maximize efficiency and just destroy that day? So I guess, again, I know I'm not giving you a great like onesie answer there, but that's, I think, one of the struggles sometimes with that quote, because I think it is great, but I think I view it more as a mindset more than it is like a checklist type thing,
Yeah, and to each person, it's different, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, you're better than yesterday because you were able to wake up, tell yourself we're here, and we're going to take action.
Yeah.
So very powerful. Jake, thank you so much for being on the Got Your Six podcast. Where can people find you?
So LinkedIn, you can find me on LinkedIn. That's my main hitter, honestly. I do have Facebook and Instagram, but to be honest, I don't follow them. The government just likes to see that I am a real person and I'm not fake, so or made up. But yeah, LinkedIn, I would love to reach out. I do have a website. You can find inextremis.us, and I have information on there. I'm pretty sure my email is either there or LinkedIn. I love networking. I love meeting new people, finding out, different interests, different things that I'm learning something new every day. Like, I'm not that smart of a person. So I'm always looking for ways to learn. I love networking. And if anybody has any questions, hit me up. I'd love to chat.
Awesome. Jake, thank you for taking the time to teach us about, what has made you successful along the way. Well, it's not always, as they say, like rainbows and cookies in the military.
Yep.
You got to where you are and you're continuing to trend in a positive direction. Extremely powerful. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for having me on. I don't know if I'm deserving, but I do appreciate the opportunity to be on here.
Hey, Sixers, before you go, got to talk to you about the tack short from 10,000. Hands down, the best training short I own in my workout gear. Tough as nails, ultra durable. The side zippers allow you to just kind of go through your workout. Comes in 5 and 7 inch inseams, depending on how long you like it. I'm a huge fan of OD Green. Go check out their gear. Find your favorite pair. Let me know what you think. Reach out on all the social media platforms and just let me know how much you love it, because once you buy a pair, you're going to absolutely love it. Every order, free shipping, free exchange, and free returns. Talking to my friends over at 10,000, they're going to hook you up with 15% off at checkout. Go to 10,000.cc, not .com.cc. Enter promo code GOTYOUR6. That's GOTYOUR and the number 6 for 15% off. You're not going to be disappointed. Can't wait to hear what you think of the tactical shorts from 10,000. Sixers are running a new segment in a couple episodes, and I'm super excited about it. Talking to all these incredible high performers, I've realized we need to stack the wins to achieve massive success. And I want you to know I have your back in these accomplishments. Let me know. Go to either Twitter or Instagram. Got Your Six Pod with the number 6. There's a Google form there. Let me know a win you or somebody else recently experienced and deserves some recognition. I want you to know I'm stacking the wins with you each episode, so we'll give you a little shout out at the end of each episode, just so you know we got your 6.
I don't know what you've been told, Sixers, but the lawyers would like us to remind you that the views, opinions, and comments expressed on the Got Your Six podcast are solely those of the hosts or guests, to include current and previous Department of Defense employees, and should in no way be considered the opinions of or endorsements on behalf of the Department of Defense or any of its components, divisions, contractors, or other current and previous staff members.